但是到说的，现在是没。好。
Good afternoon. I'm Mark Uno, head of the Department of Religious Studies here at the University of Oregon, and it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to this afternoon's event, a special presentation by His Holiness Tenzin Gyatso, the 14th Dalai Lama, The Path to Peace and Happiness in the Global Society. The effort to bring His Holiness to the University of Oregon has taken a decade, and now I wish to turn the stage over to the Venerable Tulku Jigme Rinpoche of the Eugene Shakya Center, with whom the University of Oregon has developed a remarkable cooperative effort whose fruits you see before you today.
It is with great honor, blessing, and joy to welcome His Holiness the Dalai Lama. 10 years ago, when we started our center, we had a vision to amplify the message of peace and harmony. With this in mind, my kind mother, Lady Palmer, approached His Holiness on numerous occasions to grace us with His presence. And finally, our dream is coming true. I think the theme here today is how path of peace and compassion is the best and most practical way of sustaining the world in mental happiness and physical preservation of the earth. And this message of peace and compassion in solving today's problems and challenges is no better demonstrated by than His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Your Holiness, for the world, you are a noble peace laureate and champion of human values. For the Dharma student, you are the most precious and perfect teacher. For a Buddhist devotee, you are the manifestation of Buddha of compassion. For 6 million Tibetans, you are our beacon of hope and inspiration. Yet, you always mention that you are a simple Buddhist monk, nothing less and nothing more. In this inspiring mood, on behalf of Eugene Sakya Center, I would like to express our deepest gratitude to Your Holiness for your most gracious presence. And we would like to thank Your Holiness for your tireless effort, immeasurable love and compassion for all sentient beings. And I would also like to thank our sponsors, volunteers, community leaders, and most importantly, University of Oregon, for their generosity and support in making this event possible. May all our gathered effort be dedicated so that His Holiness continues to live for a long time, and that his health remain excellent, and that his vision and all his aspiration for the world and for Tibet and Tibetan people may be fulfilled, and that during his lifetime he may return to Tibet.
There's a Buddhist expression I want to share with you all. Today is a beautiful day in the life of the universe. To have His Holiness the Dalai Lama with us here, this is the feeling one gets. It has been such a journey, over a decade of planning, many meetings every week for the past 8 months, with scores of unnamed yet heroic efforts made by the members of the Eugene Shakya Center and the University of Oregon. Yet, one is then reminded of the great, great journey made by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, His Holiness Shakya Trizin, Lady Palmo, over continents, through many mountains and valleys to bring us this beautiful day in the life of the universe. And now it is with great joy that I introduce to you our President, Michael Gottfredson, who holds a PhD and an MA from the State University of New York at Albany and an AB from the University of California at Davis. Prior to joining the University of Oregon in 2012, President Gottfredson served as Provost and Executive Vice Chancellor at the University of California, Irvine, as well as several other key positions, and has also held academic appointments at the University of Arizona, Claremont Graduate School, University of Illinois in Urbana, and SUNY Albany. President Gottfredson is an internationally renowned expert in the field of criminology and criminal justice. His seminal work, A General Theory of Crime, is widely cited on the connection between early childhood experiences and delinquency and crime. His work has some remarkable resonances and affinity with Buddhist theories of karma, and dare I say, a karmic connection or affinity with His Holiness Tenzin Gyatso, the 14th Dalai Lama. It is thus with the greatest of pleasures and honor that I introduce to you our President, Michael Gottfredson of the University of Oregon.
Thank you, Professor Urno, and thank you for all the work that you've done bringing us here today. Your Holiness, civic leaders, students, faculty, staff, and members of the community, welcome. This is indeed a historic day for our community. When I first came to the University of Oregon nearly a year ago, I began a learning experience that has led to some wonderful discoveries. From our university's national reputation, I knew of its traditions of scholarly inquiry and its deep commitments to student learning. I knew, too, of its tradition of seeking the betterment of humankind through service. Once on campus, I began discovering examples of the character and commitment that underpin this national profile of civic engagement. Early on, I was introduced to the marvelous partnership between the university and the Shakya group of Eugene, a partnership that has provided the opportunity for us to gather here today. For almost 10 years, our partnership has sought the high honor of a visit from His Holiness the Dalai Lama. I am deeply honored to join with the Shakya group and everyone here to welcome His Holiness to our community today. For the University of Oregon, this visit reflects our commitment to broad scholarly inquiry in the sciences, the arts, and the professions, inquiry bound together by a common purpose of enhancing the quality of life for the people of our community, the state, and the world. The relationship between our university's values and the work and message of His Holiness is indeed profound. Today, I have the distinct privilege of presenting His Holiness with the University of Oregon Presidential Medal. This is the highest honor that I can bestow. With this medal, we recognize His Holiness's work in promoting universal human values, inspiring inquiry into the human mind, and illuminating the interdependence of all peoples and our shared environment. Your Holiness, I now have the great honor to present you with the Presidential Medal. I also have one more presentation, Your Holiness. A University of Oregon visor.
Thank you. Okay. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Another scarf. For you.
Well deserved.
Okay. Oh,
And now it is my great honor to introduce to this assembly His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, who will speak on the path to peace and happiness in the global society. Your Holiness.
그래 볼까? 네, 맞아요. I see. As the president of the university, well, as a senior brother, then brothers and sisters, I always start talk, call you brothers and sisters. I feel it is something important. Actually, see the different name of different sort of status of these things are secondary, not important. Important is we are same human being. We are actually human brothers, sisters. We are same human being. In spite of the outwardly differences, but basically we are same human being. Physically, emotionally, mentally, we are same. And more important, in emotion, you have some sort of the potential of good emotion as well as bad emotion. I also have same. And then more important, everyone, right from the beginning, want happy life, do not want disturbances. We have every right to achieve happy life. So, now in order to achieve genuine happy life, we are social animal. Each individual's happiness very much depends on the rest of the society. Now today, we are also such sort of the reality or situation that not only nation to nation, but also continent to continent, heavily interdependent. So something happened, and far away, repercussion reach your own place. So the whole world is just one small planet. So something like we become world, one world. So therefore, the ultimate source of our happy life depends on the rest of the world. So here, I always make clear this sort of concept or sense of oneness of humanity. It's very important. For my own experience, with strong belief, same human being, oneness of humanity, wherever I go, talk, people, I always have this sort of that feeling. I'm talking another human being. No differences. Whether east or west or south or north, no differences. And different religious faith, different nationality, different races, different color. These are secondary. Now here, when we really examine the situation of the world, there are a lot of problems. Some problems due to nature disaster, due to nature, like global warming. To some extent, our behavior also made some contribution. Basically, these are the natural sort of phenomena. Now, world, see those changing. After all, from Buddhist literatures, we always say, eons, eons. So, whole galaxies, whole universe, whole Milky Way, moving towards certain direction. So, these nature sort of element also is changing. So, these are beyond our control. But meantime, a lot of problems, including violence. These or including, you see, the suffering due to injustice. And also the poverty, exploitation, bully. All these sort of problems are our own creation. Mainly based on secondary level. For example, faith. If I sort of stress strongly, I'm Buddhist, then the Christians, Islams, Hindus, or those non-Buddhist, some distance. That kind of concept immediately creates barrier and creates strong we and they. Then, for your own sort of short-term interest, sacrifice their right, bully on them, exploit on them, cheating on them. If we keep here oneness of human being, then you really feel that, yeah, same human being. I want happy life. I do not want to exploit other people. So I should not exploit other. I should not lie other. I should respect, you see, their life. So then, certainly these man-made problems certainly will reduce if we promote the concept oneness of humanity. I'm quite sure. So many of these problems on the basis of the secondary level of differences. So if we go deeper level, oneness of human being, then much of these problems automatically reduce. Usually I think, too much emphasis secondary level of differences, then sometimes forget about oneness of human being or human values, these things. Actually, I think in order to segue, the value, the happiness or better future of humanity, Sometimes, if necessary, we can sacrifice the secondary level of differences. But we usually use the opposite. So therefore, now for example, when I look at you, if I look at you, another human being, then in my mind, no barrier, we are same. If I look at you, oh, these are foreigner, I'm Tibetan, I'm Buddhist. And then even more, oh, I'm His Holiness Dalai Lama. Oh, that kind of thinking, isolate myself from you. Result, more uneasiness, anxiety. That actually, creates a deep inside loneliness. If I look at you, another human being, I easily mix with you. Then, no possibility to create loneliness. Clear? So therefore, I think all spiritual traditions, as it talks, spirit of brothers, sisters, I think that's very, very important. We must pay more attention about oneness of humanity. Then, once we develop genuine sense of concern of others' well-being and develop sense of concern of humanity, then it automatically develops a sense of global responsibility. That, I think, very, very important. The reality, everything, as I mentioned earlier, interconnected, including ecology problem, global warming, and many things interrelated. That's the reality. But appearances, sometimes your own interest or interest of your own community, your own country, is more or less isolated. So there is huge gap, reality and perception. So if we carry effort according to our own perception, then often creates our action become unrealistic. Any unrealistic effort will bring disaster. We must act according to reality, not based on our own perception. I think many problems, including some sort of international issues. So sometimes the concerned people just try to solve or try to deal that problem according to their own perception. So then often, no matter how sincere motivation, often fail. Because in spite of sincere motivation and reasonable goal, but their method become unrealistic. So therefore, we must we must carry our activities more realistic way. So here, they investigate about reality or awareness about reality is very essential. Now, in order to know the reality, our perception must be wide, more holistic. The reality will not know through one dimension. We must look from various dimensions, 4 dimensions or 6 dimensions. In order to look that, our mind must be calm. If our mind biased, then cannot see. if we keep sense of global responsibility, then our mind always look more holistic. If we too much emphasis, my people, right? My country, my fellow believer, then isolate, then become biased, cannot see the reality. Clear. So therefore, now this concept must develop through education, not through just mere teaching. Clear. So I think in our education, I think really main purpose of education is try to reduce gap, appearance and reality. So now in this field, I think education has very, very important role. Sometimes I notice some American, yours of education also, I think the knowledge about outside world sometimes limited. Of course, it is understandable, America, big land. And within your own country, a lot of problems. So you people always look for your own sort of concern. And sometimes is lacking fuller knowledge of outside world. So it is very, very important through education to teach people oneness of humanity. And through that way, develop sense of global responsibility. Again, this does not mean you forget your own interest. No. If global level, peaceful, happy, your own interest automatically fulfilled. If humanity passing through difficult period, you cannot escape from that. So actually, more sense of concern of others' well-being. The benefit, maximum benefit goes to yourself. Sometimes you see compassionate, friendly attitude not necessarily bring happiness on other person. One time in Germany, I passing through the street. As I my sort of usual sort of habit, whenever I saw some people, I always smile. No need to introduce. So long, these are human beings. I smile. Of course, if I smile birds, then I think my mind a little bit sort of wrong. A human being, of course, you see, most cases, when I look at them more with smile, they also respond. On occasion, when I passing through, one young lady going there, I smile. The lady seems, I think, got some suspicion. This stranger person in that car smiling at her, perhaps she felt, oh, something sort of bad intention. She looks very negative way. So my sort of friendly or compassionate sort of expression brought some suspicion on her mind. So therefore, sometimes compassion practice not necessarily brings some benefit to others, but you yourself, once you show them genuine sort of friendship on the basis of oneness of human being, you feel happy. So here I would like to mention, sometimes people feel practice of compassion. These are something benefit to other people, not necessarily yourself. This is totally wrong. Look, one occasion, I think near New York, university, you see, we discuss with some scientists about about health. One medical scientist mentioned, according to his finding, those people who often come their mouth the word I, me, mine, like that. So such people have greater risk of heart attack. He didn't explain. Then I thought, oh, it is true. Those people, provided be honest, otherwise, you see, they're very self-centered here. But saying, oh, compassion, then something different. But I think such honest people express what they really feel. So those people who often, you see, use these words, I, in the inside, strong self-centered attitude. So extreme selfish, sometimes I call blind selfish. You see, that kind of selfish actually close our inner door. Then it finds it very difficult to reach out with other people. Result, you feel isolated, you feel lonely. Then more anxiety. With that, more suspicion, more distrust. So that's the causing of heart attack. I feel like that. More compassionate attitude, open our inner door, then reach easily with other people. Clear? So therefore, the practice of compassion is really immense beneficial to oneself. Now, medical scientists also now saying anger, hatred, fear really eating our immune system. So fear, anger, hatred, very much related with self-centered attitude, as I already mentioned. Too much self-centered attitude. Then think only oneself, not thinking other. So result, eventually suspicion, distrust happen. So that really destroy inner peace, inner strength. So compassion, sense of concern of others' well-being, really develop inner self-confidence, inner strength. With that, you can carry your life transparently, talk frankly, truthfully, honestly. That actually creates very positive, warm atmosphere. Clear. So therefore, it is wrong to think the practice of compassion, forgiveness, these are part of religious practice. So those people who have not much interest about religion, they also neglect about these values. That's totally wrong. Whether you accept religion or not, it's entirely up to you. But these values are basically human value and biological factor. So religion only, you see, nurtured these values, but this value itself from birth, biological factor. So long so long we come from our mother, received immense sort of affection from our mother at the early age. So that experience from mother's affection, that experience really absorbed in our blood. So those people who received maximum affection from our mother in early age, rest of their life, in deep inside, much happier. Those individuals, no matter how successful, but at young age, lacking affection from our mother, from other sort of friends. And then sense of insecurity and fear, distrust become part of your life. So whole life, deep inside, much anxiety. So even small incident happen, it easily bursts. Inside, more sort of secure from early experience from early life. And even if you see serious disturbances come, may not disturb your mind. So therefore, whether believer or non-believer, we must pay more attention about these inner values in order to achieve a happy life, happy society, ultimately happy world. This is one thing. Then what else? Okay. Then perhaps I may mention I usually, telling people, now we are in 21st century. 20th century already gone. So now I would like to know those among the audience, those people whose age below 15, those people raise hand. Below 15, almost no. Okay. Good. Then below 20. That's okay. Now below 30, I think more. Good. So those people whose age below 30, you are truly generation of 21st century. Now those people whose age above 70, raise hand. Above 60. Okay. So, dear my generation, we are actually belongs to 20th century. So our century gone. So the generation of 20th century, we also now ready to say bye-bye. So now, those people whose age below 30, you have the opportunity to create new shape of this century. Look, 20th century. Look at 20th century. Oh, really marvelous. That was the human century. During that century, I think marvelous achievement. very constructive achievement there. And also, that century becomes century of violence, century of bloodshed. Even those great achievements through science and through technology become additional source of fear, source of suffering. Much war mission, they develop with help of science and technology, including atom bomb. These sort of achievements really brought more fear, more suffering. Some occasion, then the East Bloc and Germany also divided East Germany, West Germany. Few occasions I visited the border, real border with East Germany. So sometimes I spend a few days during night. Sometimes I really feel, oh, if something happened, and this is just the front. So those are the tactical weapons from Warsaw Pact, I think firstly reach in this border area. So I also sometimes during night, little sort of anxiety. So appearing there's some kind of peace there, but that peace out of fear, not genuine peace. So, First World War, Second World War, then after Second World War, during Cold War, that kind of sort of fear. Now, 20th century, some historians say over 200 millions of people killed. That immense violence, if brought some sort of positive sort of result, say, immense violence create better shape of world, peaceful world. No. I think the 20th century's immense violence causing even beginning of this 21st century some sort of limited violence. I consider the unhealthy, sort of unhappy events on the beginning of 21st century is actually symptom of past centuries' mistake or negligence. So therefore, some problems, if not increase, but problem will remain. So, in the past, when we saw some problems, disagreement, different interests, in order to deal that by force. That totally wrong, mistake. So therefore, problem remain. Then how to deal this problem? There is no other alternative except through talk, dialogue. So therefore, this century, 21st century, should be century of dialogue. That's the only way. So now you, the generation who belongs to the 21st century, you have, one way, you have real opportunity to see happier world. Within this century, I think the later part of the 21st century, we will not see. You will see better shape of the world. More friendly, more peaceful, more compassionate. So, possibility there. But that possibility must be built, not relying on prayer or simple meditation. No, that's an unrealistic method. Of course, I'm a Buddhist practitioner. I also practice sort of meditation, and also my daily prayer, some praying, also there. But in terms of world affair, in the terms of community affair, action is more important than prayer. So therefore, in order to carry action, you need vision, certain vision as a target. That vision also, realistic vision. Unrealistic vision will bring failure. So realistic, so what's the objective? So I often is telling people, perhaps within this century, end of this century, perhaps a world without armament. World can be demilitarized world. Very possible. Very possible. So demilitarized world, really peaceful world, you see, through step by step, tremendous sort of determination, and with patience and clear vision, very possible. So please think more seriously about these things. All these things based on concept of oneness of humanity, one world, one humanity. So think more. And then education, those people who involve, of course, first is the president of the university, so, and professors, you see, these teachers, I think, tremendous sort of responsibility to cultivate them. Warm-heartedness. Actually, from our mother, biologically, seed already there. Then nurture these things through education, through awareness. That's important. Then those, mother or female, as I mentioned earlier, the real source of affection or compassion is our mother. So, since some time back, I expressing in human history, in early period of human society, no concept of leadership. Every people equal, work together, whatever they get, something, they share equally. Then farming system develop, population also increase. So some mischievous people then also, you see, come, increase. So the leadership, concept of leadership comes. Then at that time, no rule of education. So therefore, the main sort of quality become leadership is physical strength. So male domination start. Then gradually, education develop. So education brings more equal men and female. So in modern world, so some really significant leadership coming from female. Now, 21st century, education, it seems, you see, not only myself, but also, you see, number of my friends who really, you see, thinking deeper level, so we have the sort of opinion, same opinion, the existing education system very much oriented about material value. Not sufficient, not sufficient pay attention about inner value. I think historically, when separate education institutions started, I think 1,000 years ago in the European continent, Then the moral ethics, these take care by church. So newly established or newly developed separate education institution, they only take care about the brain. So now today, gradually the influence by church and also family value also a little bit decline. So now education institution alone should take both responsibility, taking care about their brain development and also taking care of development of warm-heartedness. Now here, time is come. We must pay more attention about inner value, which is mainly sort of sense of concern of others' well-being. Now here, biologically, again some scientists sort of experimented. One male and female watching one sort of picture. The picture shows someone painful sort of experiences. Then the response from to the audience were the female much more sensitive about other sort of pain. That's a biological factor. So therefore, now time or new sort of time or time come, we must pay more attention about promotion of compassion or basic human sort of values. Female should take more active role regarding promotion of human compassion. So that's why with this sort of my view or my sort of opinion, I think it's many years ago in Paris, one women's magazine, they interviewed me and she asked me in future whether any female Dalai Lama. And I immediately answered, oh yes, very possible. Female Dalai Lama, if the circumstance is such more useful, then why not? In Tibetan sort of the in Tibetan tradition, some very high Lama, actually female Lama, I think more than 600 years, female reincarnated Lama institution there. Then I also add to that sort of the journalist, if female Dalai Lama come, that female will be very, very attractive. So that also makes differences. So these are, I really believe, now female, biologically, more sensitive about others' pain. I think war hero in history books, most of these war hero, actually murderer. If one person, kill, one person, bad, murderer, have to go, if not a death sentence, but have to go jail. But if someone killed 100,000 people, then we call hero. So most of these hero, most cases male. Even I think butcher, most cases male. So female, biologically, more sensitive about other sort of pain. So I truly feel, you should take more active role in this field. Then the female, if you want children, then please provide maximum affection to your children. My own case, I have certain amount of sort of compassionate sort of feeling. One, of course, through training, that also tremendous sort of help. But original sort of factor is my mother. So kind. I think all her sort of children never saw her face, angry face. Never. Illiterate. Just a farmer's peasant, right? Peasant. Uneducated, but very warm-hearted person. So sometimes I tell, I'm telling my own sort of story. My mother, when I was young, of course, I'm the youngest, her sort of child. So usually, you see, the youngest one get more sort of affection from mother. So you see, my mother, very sort of kind to me. So, as a villager sort of boy, you see, not like some modern boy, you see, not much toys or these things, or computer. Oh. So, my mother used to carry me on her shoulder, even when she working in field. She often used to carrying me on her shoulder. Then that young boy, a little bit spoiled due to my mother's compassion, I hold my mother's 2 ears. If I want to go this side, that side. If my mother didn't follow, you see, that's my instruction, then I shout. So my mother so kind towards me. So I think real sort of seed of my compassion at that time, you see, I received. So please provide maximum affection to your children and spend more time with your children. That's very, very important. So that's about my talk. Then some question answer.
We will take questions. I'll stay on stage. There'll be projection.
Oh, I see. Oh. Okay.
I'm Steve Shankman, UNESCO Chair in Transcultural Studies, Interreligious Dialogue, and Peace at the University of Oregon. And my question for His Holiness is, what is the role that Buddhism in particular can play in interreligious dialogue today, especially in discouraging acts of violence in the name of religion?
According my experience, firstly, in Buddhist tradition, particularly Nalanda tradition, different philosophical views actually is taught by Buddha himself. So this, of course, as a result of Buddha's own mind, not very clear. So one day, some audience, he taught some kind of sort of philosophical views. And the next day, another group, he taught something different philosophical view. Not as a result of his own mind, not very certain. Or Buddha's own mind, a little bit confused. Certainly not. Nor he taught deliberately these contradictory philosophy in order to create more confusion among his followers? No. Then, what is the reason? He taught according mental disposition of particular audience. The main purpose of the teaching is transform their mind, not just sort of his own sort of showcase. No. So therefore, this shows Buddha accept the different mental disposition among his own followers. So this we learned. Yes, the world at large is people, different mental disposition. Therefore, we need different way of sort of different religious tradition. Then again, if we closely look, all major religious tradition carry same message or same practice. That's practice of love, compassion, forgiveness, tolerance, contentment, self-discipline. All major religious tradition teach us these practices. So, very clear, all major religious tradition carry same message. Then different philosophy come. Because according different mental disposition, we need a different way of approach. Now, for example, to some people, the concept of God, Creator, Absolute, is very powerful. This very life created by God. So we have direct sort of link with God. We have sort of intimacy feeling. So more that feeling, more tendency follow God's wishes. And then, again, the concept of creator is really create some certain kind of image. We are creation. We are part of creation of God. So we, nothing, simply creation of God. So that tremendous sort of devotion, tremendous sort of dedicate, totally submit to God. That effect strong self-centered attitude. Buddhists use method, no independent self. Different method, same goal, to reduce self-centered attitude. And the message of love is common. So then we will see different method is highly necessary because of different mental disposition. Once we realize all major religious tradition, same message, same practice, same potential, different philosophy is necessary because of different audiences. So that, I think, quite sort of useful to develop mutual respect, mutual admiration, like that. So usually it's a problem. It's a concept, one religion, one truth. Sometimes it creates some problem. So then, concept of one truth, one religion for individual practitioner is very necessary in order to strengthen your faith, single-pointed faith. But in the terms of community, one truth, one religion is irrelevant, unrealistic. We must accept several truths, several religions. So in terms of community, the concept of several truths, several religions is relevant. In terms of one individual practitioner, concept of one truth, one religion is relevant, like that. So I think the Buddhist concept, you see, can make some contribution regarding open our mind, and through that way respect all religions. Now here, I always make a distinction. Faith and respect. Faith, your own religion. Respect to all religions. I think that is very possible.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth Merchant, and I'm here to ask a question on behalf of an inmate at the Oregon State Penitentiary named Jeff. The way I met Jeff is through a class called Inside Out through the Robert D. Clark Honors College. In this class, we discussed literature and ethics, and were given the opportunity to ask a question of the Dalai Lama. Here is Jeff's question. If you could say one thing to the next Dalai Lama, what would that be?
Kasa. I don't know. That's, if I say so, it is rather a foolish question. Now, next question.
My name is Gordon Nagayama Hall. I'm a professor of psychology. My question is, in many countries, individual rights are so highly valued, they sometimes seem to outweigh policies that may benefit the whole of society. What are the most effective ways to facilitate compassion for others in those situations? In other words, what is the best way for pursuit of individual rights and compassion for others to coexist, or are they mutually exclusive? My name is Gordon Nagayama Hall. I'm a professor of psychology.
Oh. As I mentioned earlier, the best way to fulfill your own interests is showing sense of concern of others. That's the best way. Then the practice of compassion, practice of sense of concern of others' well-being does not mean you forget your own interest. The best way to fulfill your own interest, since we are social animals, if we are truly exist or survived by independently or single way, and then okay, then compassion or sense of concern of others' well-being is irrelevant. But this is not the case. No matter how sort of able person or sort of a powerful person remain single way in some remote area, within a few days will die. So therefore, our very survival depends on the rest of the community. Now, modern lifestyle, missions, or because of mobile telephone, all these is from other continents, produce these things used by you. So all our because of the lifestyle, or interconnect, or lifestyle, or facility of our happy life entirely depend on other. That's reality. Then, meantime, in order, now for example, in order to promote religious harmony, in order to promote a genuine, peaceful world, who start this? Individual. Not United Nations, not government level, but individual. Peace, for example, peace must come through inner peace. So first, inner peace start from individual, not society or group. Society means combination of individual. Change society means first individual, part of each part of the society, each made attempt, change themselves. Then society changed. So therefore, the individual is top most important. So then, without individual freedom, then no possibility to utilize individual creativity. So individual freedom, extremely important. Meantime, you see, ultimately, society must change. Society must be peaceful society, like that. So everything interlinked, like that. And then some sort of particular sort of a case we have to balance. Some cases, you see, contradictions, individual interest and interest of society, and also short-term interest, long-term interest, sometimes contradictions there. Then we should use our intelligence properly, more balanced way, like that. Next question.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Burton. I'm the operations manager for the Center for Multicultural Academic Excellence here at the University of Oregon, and I'm honored to be able to pose this question to you, Your Holiness. Sometimes in professional life, aggressiveness and self-centeredness are rewarded more often than compassion and care for others. Since it's often impossible because of financial and family obligations for the average person to withdraw from a professional life, how can one be altruistic, maintain bodhicitta, the aspiration for enlightenment, and still thrive in their jobs?
I think I already sort of mentioned the practice of altruism does not mean your own interest completely neglected. No. In fact, in order to help others more effectively, now for example, in order to help other sort of sick people, first you yourself be healthy. If you yourself is sick, then how to carry help for other sick people? If doctor really very sick person, then difficult to treat other people. Maybe patient may laugh and look at the doctor himself or herself, very poor sort of situation. So in order to help other people, first you yourself should be fit to carry, including economic condition. So therefore, you see, no contradiction. If you use properly here wisdom or intelligence, provided more balance with sense of concern for others' well-being, there's no problem. Clear? Then always, sometimes some people, I think in the West, usually some people just black and white. Right? They're always in the middle. So should not go extreme, either sort of extreme way, then often become unrealistic. So more balance. Like that, no problem. Next question.
Hi, I'm Ian Sato. I'm a doctoral student in philosophy. My question is, what is the ideal balance between politics and spirituality in addressing social issues, as in, for example, Northern Ireland, Israel-Palestine, Tibet and China, or gay marriage in the US?
Sure, Dr. 그 추해지시면서. I think I already mentioned, if our mind too much disturbed, become biased, cannot see the things objectively. So then, without seeing the reality fully, all your action become unrealistic. So first, you should take care of your own sort of condition, mental situation. Is it a question? No, like that. Okay, finished, I think. Then next. So, I really feel great honor to share with, I think, a number of human brothers, sisters. Now, please think more seriously. You should not take for granted your future is something good. A problem bound to happen. Then, two things. Wider perspective, more holistic way, look. And then, with sort of self-confidence, that's very much related with sense of compassion, sense of concern of others' well-being. So this sort of moral ethics and more holistic sort of look, then those such man-made problems, logically, these man-made problems created by humans themselves. So we must have opportunity or ability to reduce these problems since we created. That's quite logical. So therefore, we need more sort of determination with optimistic. It's very essential. Due to certain sort of small problems, then demoralize, then feel hopelessness. It's the really basis of failure. You see, we must keep self-confidence with combination of wisdom and warm-heartedness. Then there is Tibetan saying, 9 times failure, 9 times effort. That's very important. Sometimes you American brothers, sisters, sometimes too much impatience. something good things happen, you because of the jumping, because of overexcited. If something little sort of difficult things happen, then should not do that. Our target must be clear. Then motivation must be very clear and method must be realistic. Then always overcome these difficulties. I think full confidence with determination is very, very essential. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you. Exactly.